We had a little bit of issues, but we're live.
Yep. Sorry
Uh,
about that. They were mostly my fault.
welcome, welcome back to another episode of Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. We are on episode 28
28.
with a short story.
Yeah. I like
Um,
this story.
yeah, and so before we jump in, just a couple rounds of news, nothing major. We're gonna try to make this a short episode since we're running late.
Hmm.
Um, so the Acolyte, we've talked a little
Yeah.
bit about that show being in production. It is now officially, thanks to San Diego Comic Con, been announced that Amanda Steinberg is in the show. As um, let's see if it confirms that if she's a lead or if she's the lead or a lead, playing the lead role. Okay, so yes. I'm pulling up stuff for you because I know
Yeah,
you're
'cause I'm
you're
like,
already like, who's that? um,
I could never go to like.
You ever see the Hunger Games?
Yes.
Rue.
Oh, okay. I know who that is now.
Yeah, Rue. So she's gonna be our main evil Sith Lord acolyte, I guess.
Okay.
That's kind of cool.
Going from dead children able of Lord. I consider that a step up in one's career.
Yeah. Of course, she was also in The Hate You Give and some other
Hmm.
stuff. That's given her a name, right? Um, and recently, Dear Evan Hansen, the musical that was turned into a film. Yeah.
Nice.
You're better off that way. The film was not.
You're like, I watched it. It wasn't.
No, I didn't even watch it. I
Oh.
avoided it. So we got new cover art. So some other stuff San Diego Comic Con's given us. So Star Wars had their book panel. We got some new cover art for the Battle of Jeddah, which has a Nikto Jedi and another human Jedi with like a crossguard, but it's not. But it's not like it's not the same kind of crossguard as like Kylo's.
Oh,
It's just
no.
a metal crossguard.
This guy knows how a crossguard's supposed to fucking work.
Whoa, though. Hold on. If I'm going to have a crossguard, I'm going to want something that will defend me from the weapon that's coming down. Metal doesn't always stop lightsabers.
No, it doesn't.
So, yeah.
I might be wrong about that. Hope that's
So,
made
unless
out
that's
of...
made of Mandalorian iron or frick.
I don't know how actually difficult to get frick is in Star Wars.
Also, frick, I think, is even less common now because,
Mm.
like, the only person in canon that I can think that has a frick lightsaber is Sidious.
Ah. Well, that makes...
Correction, he had two, and then he lost one. And then he lost the other one in episode 3.
What's up with motherfuckers losing their lightsabers?
And then we also got some comics panels from a comic that that Dark Horse is doing with the same guy who's doing with George Mann, who's also writing the Battle of Jeddah, and it's called The Nameless Terror. So I think we know what it's about. I think it's about the Nameless.
Probably.
But it looks like we got a few Jedi in it as well. We've got a Bith Jedi. We've got that Nikto Jedi that we saw in a different Nikto Jedi. Got a Duros. Yeah. And then, of course, it looks like the High Republic Adventures will be coming back through Dark Horse, which was up in the air, of course, because, the High Republic Adventures was being done by the previous company that had the Adventures line. I just lost their name.
It's not
IDW.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's IDW. So
Okay.
IDW had it, and then now it's Dark Horse that does the other comics. Obviously, Marvel still does the mainline stuff.
Yeah.
And then we also, speaking of Marvel, we got Volume 2 of the High Republic mainline comic. And by Volume 2, I mean the reset. So, reset to 1 in issue 2.
Oh, yeah.
So Volume 2 in that sense, not Volume 2 as in trade paperback sense, because that comics are confusing when it comes to that.
You're on 2-1.
Yeah.
As opposed to 1-2.
Yeah. And so,
Because it's stupid like that.
Yeah. And so we got some new cover art with for issue 2. And then we got some art for another little piece of art for Princess and the Scoundrel, which is coming out next month. And that's going to cover Han and Leia's wedding day. And then we got some art for Hyperspace Stories, which is another version of Star Wars Adventures that Dark Horse is doing, which is like it's that same idea of Star Wars Adventures where it's just let's tell stories from different eras and put it in a it's the same thing as what they did with Tales back in the day.
All right.
Back when Dark Horse had the rights the first time. And then of course we got issue 2's cover now, which looks like it's going to be a Luke and Leia adventure. And then we got some more stuff on Tales from the Rancor Pit, which will have your person Ty Yorick in it.
Yeah.
And is slated for November 22nd, which is weird because that's supposed to be your Halloween thing, but okay. And then we got some little DK books. So Star Wars 100 Objects from Kristen Baver, who works on the Star Wars show for Star Wars' YouTube channel. Described by her as a headcanon museum exhibit, it is currently expected to be available on January 31st of next year. And then the other book that looks like a DK thing is the Life Day pop-up book and advent calendar. The book from Inside Editions will be available in November. Its spirited pages feature illustrations from every era in Star Wars. Cool. All right. So, that is the news. Like I said, not a lot. And so, now we can kind of jump into the main meat of this week. So, I guess if you care, spoiler warning for Galactic Tales Inheritance.
Yeah.
Which is this month's short story in Star Wars Insider. We get our boy Dexter Jettster.
Yeah. Once again, he continues to live in the slums.
Yeah. That's where the diner is. We played Lego Star Wars. We saw where the diner is. It's not in a good part of town.
No.
But the story doesn't start with him.
No, it does not.
It starts with, I'm pulling up his name. It starts with, thought I saw it. Servant. Starts with Servant, who is on the run from some pirates.
Yes.
And he has a little robot head with him.
Yep. I would like to point out, he comes into the diner and puts the fucking droid's head on the counter.
Well, yeah. And then when after he's invited by Dex into the back, because Dex is like, "Hey, buddy, how's it going, Servant? Long time no see." And Servant's like, "Yeah, important thing. Can we talk in the back?" And so, yeah, they go to the back where they bring the droid head. By the way, this short story was written by George Mann, who was so. Hey, we're getting a little taste of, because I think this is your piece of George Mann writing that you've gotten, and so, yeah, he brings the droid head into the back, and they talk about basically Dex is trying to be nice. He's like, "Hey, buddy, how's it going? Let me get you some food." And he's like, No time for food. I just need to tell you what's going on. Look, some pirate. Well, he actually doesn't explain the pirates thing. He's like, "Look, I got my hands on this thing from my family. It's an heirloom. I'm trying to figure out the importance of it."
Yeah.
And Dexter's like, "Oh, that looks like one of them probe droids that,
From, like, way back in the day.
Back in the High Republic era and older, when you had hyperspace mining, where people would find new routes and they'd send droids back to be like, "Hey, here's the way to get back."
How'd you manage to get one of these?
Well, it turns out that Servant's family, his ancestors, worked with a Jedi back in the day. And they apparently found this treasured city that like nobody knows where
Yeah.
like because they've heard the story of the probe droid, but nobody ever found the probe droid or knew like where the planet was, where this great treasure was.
Yeah.
And so it turns out that this is that droid.
Yeah.
Um,
Meanwhile, out front.
Jarl, the leader of the pirates,
Yeah.
and his gang show up. Oh, and the Jedi is named Sturm Umbrick. First appearance. So nothing. I was trying to see if there was any information on them outside of this, but nope. This is their first appearance. We might probably hear more about them though, since the High Republic is going back further. So I'd be interested to see where this goes. But yeah, so out front, Jarl and the gang are causing trouble, and they've even started shooting, and basically they're doing the, all right, everybody stop eating. We're going to gather you all together and start looking.
Listen, you stay over in that one corner.
Yeah.
And no one gets hurt.
Hostage situation, baby.
Yeah. It's not something to celebrate.
I mean, it is for Jarl.
He's having a pretty good time.
Yeah. So Dex and Servant come out front. Servant being dumb enough to carry the droid head with him back to the front. And so Jarl is like, hey, I want that droid. Servant's like, no. And so threatens some more. And Dex is like, hey, let me make you some food. Give my buddy time to think this over. And we'll be good.
Hey, Servant, can you go in the back for a second?
Yeah, go grab something for me.
Yeah.
And so they go into the kitchen, and Servant's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Okay, here's the deal. I need you to slide out as many pans through the door as you can.
Like right now.
Like,
also, I'm making dinner. Look, I'm making lunch. Look, it's a lunch rush. And so
brick and brack.
Yeah, brick and brack.
Brick
Yeah.
and brack stew.
Yeah, brick and brack stew.
Just.
And so he comes out with the brick and brack stew, like all in hand, and then right into in the Jarl's face, and also
He lets him try it.
Yeah, he lets him try it first, and then he goes and knocks him out.
Just hits him with a frying pan.
Yeah, and then T7 Jarl's droid is like, who's supposed to be like a bounty hunter, like a pirate as well, but it's just a protocol droid with a gun.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh my, no, that's rude. And they like,
you know what else is rude? Pouring the Star Wars equivalent of spaghetti sauce on a protocol droid to like fry its circuits.
Yeah. And so, like, basically, this isn't a fight. This is just Dex throwing pots and pans at people
It's not.
while they're shooting at him.
Yeah.
And he's deflecting it
He's
with the
winning.
pots. Like, he's winning, yeah. Like, he's like... And so they all get knocked... Like, they all get their butts whooped.
Yeah.
And Jarl, like, it finally comes to and is ready to get this fight
Like,
really going.
Fucking fine.
But, before things can get too far gone...
Yeah.
It turns out that they were calibrating the droid a little bit to get that information this whole time.
Yeah.
And...
Crucial.
Yeah.
Where they were supposed to go was missing.
Yes. And so that's part of it. Like, and Jarl wanted it because he's like, oh, we're pirates, so it'll be worth a lot of money, and we were even willing to pay you for it, Servant. Sure, we would have shorthanded you a little, but you would have been paid. And so it turns out, like, so they play the message from the Jedi, from Sturm.
Yeah.
Master Sturm, and he basically lays out the coordinates.
Yeah.
And immediately Dex starts laughing. And
they're like, what's so funny?
Yeah, what'd we miss? And he's like, oh, that's the coordinates for a planet that's gone.
Alongside
its entire system.
Yeah. And they go, what do you mean? And he's like,
oh, the solar,
the sun went supernova.
Yeah, supernova,
about,
baby.
Like, I forget. I think he said it was like 500.
Yeah.
It was either 500 or 50 years ago.
Yeah, like he gave. I think it was 50.
Yeah.
I think it was close because it was like, it's long enough that it's well known that this planet is gone, but it's also short enough that it like was recent.
Yeah.
And so they're like,
Oh, well.
and like one of the other crew members is like, "Oh yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, oops."
Yeah, I guess we.
And like they apparently looked at the numbers and they were like, "Yeah, that's right,"
Yep.
but apparently they didn't double check their numbers because after they leave, Servant's like, "Okay, well, thanks for the help. I guess I'll pay you
I
back
guess I'm broke
somehow.
now.
I'll pay you back somehow for this mess." And Dex is like, "Oh, you're not broke. I lied to them. You're good. This is actually a completely different planet. That pirate was dumb. He didn't double check the numbers I gave him."
Yeah.
And so,
Like. It's
yeah.
a completely different.
Yeah,
number,
like a
that-
completely different system.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, it's over this way. Just fine. They're not going supernova for ages."
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
So, and he's like,
Well, plenty of time unless they come back.
"Yeah." So
You should be good for now.
he's like, "Yeah, you can pay me back then. Also, in the meantime, here, clean up. You can pay me back a little bit
Yeah.
now by doing that." And so, and that's Galactic Tales Inheritance.
Yeah.
Fun little short story, nothing too crazy.
I almost was like, and no Jedi made an appearance, and then I realized
And then
I
Sturm.
was wrong.
And then Sturm. Yep.
No living Jedi made an appearance.
There you go. We still don't know much about Dex. Dex
No.
is still this enigma, and it's kind of great that he's still like this top secret enigma that nobody really knows like how he knows all this information. It's like, I just worked as a miner a long time ago, and it's
And
like,
that's all I did.
and yeah, and that's how I know all these things. It's like that doesn't compute.
It's like, so let's get. What do we know about Dex? He has 4 arms. He runs a diner in the shitty part of town.
Everybody knows not to mess with him.
It's
And he's also like apparently everybody goes to as the informant. Like
Yeah.
he's the go-to guy. He's also got the best mustache in Star Wars. That's about it. That's all we really know.
he likes to cook, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if he's running a diner,
I would hope he's.
I would hope he enjoys it. Yeah. And he's got a droid. Oh, hey. Yeah, we just finished telling the story. How's it going, Chaco? We're
Yo.
just talking about
You're right.
Dexter Jettster, Galactic Tales Inheritance.
Also, somehow skilled enough to deflect blaster bolts with frying pans.
Yeah, blaster bolts with frying pans. Like, he's a full-on master. You don't want a cameo? Yeah, you don't want to be in it a little bit and bring me my food? My parents are here.
Hi.
It's gonna be short. We're talking about short story. It's about Dexter. It's about Dexter Jettster.
You too.
Bye. Yeah, he's also the reason that Obi-Wan is known as a negotiator. Yep. I'll have to eat this later. But yeah, so there's still so much about him that is just we don't know, and it's kind of great, but all
Yeah.
at the same time I'm like, I want to know more. I'm like give me a book. Give me just a full like book that's about his backstory and I will eat that up.
Mm.
But I mean, I think I've read some of George Mann's story writing. This is George Mann, and he's really good. I'm glad that you finally got to
Yeah.
read some George Mann, especially now that he's about to make his way into the High Republic with a couple things. You know, he's got
Mhm.
Battle of Jeddah, which is going to be more of an audio drama, which I'm excited about because I like that Star Wars has gotten back into audio dramas.
I can't wait.
So, how to get the story without getting insider? That I don't know at the moment, but I do know at least for the High Republic ones, they are re-releasing them into a hard book. And I'm hoping they do the same with these ones because they've been subtitling these ones Galactic Tales. Because so far we've gotten Inheritance, which is this one, the Wessel run, which is how I learned that the correct way to pronounce Zam Wessel's last name. Even though Bounty Hunter, the video game, not canon, says Wiesel. And then Sabretooth with General Grievous. And then next month, we're getting a Mace Windu story, which doesn't have a title yet.
All right.
I'm hoping they keep doing their short stories in hardcover format, because, like, they've done it with all of their older stories, like, because they've done what they call the Fiction Collections Volume 1 and 2, and I think Volume 3 is coming out soon. And it has some of the canon and legend stuff, although I wish they were in chronological order, but that's a me issue.
Yeah.
It's not even in release order either, but once again, that's a me issue. And then, like I said, they're releasing the High Republic ones that we've read most of already, in hardcover format. And so I think they're gonna keep doing that, because Titan, the company that currently is the license for Star Wars Insider, they seem interested in doing these hardcover releases. So I hope it continues to be a thing. There's probably other ways you can get the story, to be honest, but you didn't
hear
that.
from us.
Yeah, you didn't hear it from us.
Man.
I'm actually double checking to see if there's another way. Sometimes certain short stories back in the past would be re-released in novels in the paperbacks, but that doesn't really happen as much now. I think it stopped happening, I'd want to say, around Dark Disciple, because Dark Disciple included the paperback version, included the short story that was connected to it. But they kind of stopped doing that as much. I guess as long as they continue releasing the short stories in some form, I'd be happy. I, of course, am willing, in the case of, since I know you, Chaco, I'm willing to screenshot the story and send it and post it in the Discord. That way you can get a chance to read it. Luke's apparently read it, but I didn't get a chance to invite him on the show in time, because Luke loves Dexter Jettster. It's his glup shitto. And so, which, do you know what a glup shitto is?
No.
Okay, so a glup shitto is a character.
Concerned.
It's basically your favorite character who is not a main primary character and is usually somebody in the background. Usually it's somebody that doesn't have any lines, and usually is like you only know about from like extra source material.
Okay.
Now, in the case of Dexter Jettster, he has lines, but it still kind of counts because of, like, he's not a main character and we don't know much about him. But even with the extra source material, we still don't know much about him. But yeah, he's a glup shitto to Luke. I don't know who my real, like, I guess, and really also a glup shitto is somebody that can be a main character outside of, like, it's usually somebody outside of the visual medium, so your films and your TV shows.
I see.
So, like, if he's a main character in a comic, that can still be a glup shitto, because it's not somebody that everybody knows. And now that I've said this so many times, I feel like I'm summoning other people that are part of the Star Wars TikTok community.
They'll find you.
Yeah. My glup shitto is, of course, saying Carrick, because my love for Knights of the Republic really goes, like, obscure once you start, like, the comics. Because I feel like the comics are well read by a lot of people, but not enough people. I feel like more people should read the comics because it's good. Everybody knows the iconic frame, though, from the comic with Revan wearing the mask and holding his lightsaber up. That's from the Knights of the Republic comic, but he's not the main character. Revan's not the main character. Revan is literally only in that. Really, he only appears twice or three times. Like, he appears in, and never his face, because this is like during the time when we didn't have a canonical within Legends version of Revan's face. But yeah, now we've really drifted off topic, but that's fine because we were late and
Yeah.
now we got to have a little bit of a fun conversation still. We're kind of gonna get back on track next week with Therm Scissor Punch. Therm Scissor Punch is also
What?
yes. Okay, let me pull it up for you.
That's a fucking name.
Therm Scissor Punch.
Oh.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
Because they're like scissors.
But yeah, they're one of the people playing Sabak with Lando at. Yeah. The fact that they were able to hold the cards, because this isn't Darth Bane style where you get the little fancy table. It's Solo style because you've seen Solo.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
you gotta hold them cards, but you can't cut them.
He's gotta. The hardest part is to be picking them up.
Yeah.
Once he has them, he's not letting go of them.
Hope he doesn't have to ever like make any trades because you trade your cards.
All right.
Or even worse, you roll the dice and you have to reset your entire hand.
Sabak is a very fun game.
So you know what?
But it's also
much respect for Therm Scissor Punch because that he's got to be able to hold the cards, and like.
Do you think he ever accidentally clipped someone's finger if they went for the same card?
No, I feel like he clipped someone's finger on purpose because someone was cheating. Scissor Punch doesn't put up with cheaters. Not at the card table. But yeah, next week we'll be kind of back on schedule but we won't. We'll only be on schedule for that 1 week, where we'll be reading High Republic, but we're also not reading it chronologically still because we're actually a few months behind on talking about this one. I meant to, so we review certain things when they come out still.
Yeah.
So this one should have been reviewed back in April.
Oh.
But a lot was coming out in April.
Mm-hmm.
And so we never got around to it. So next week we're talking about Star Wars: The High Republic Trail of Shadows. And then the week after that we're doing Padawan, which I've read over half of. I need to finish reading before it comes out. Unfortunately, it's getting nasty on Twitter in that there's a lot of stuff that's being spoiled. Some people have actually taken pictures of pages from Padawan. I don't know if I consider what I've said as spoiler, but it could be construed as spoiler. And so I apologize for those that may construe it as a spoiler. Because I do not mean to spoil anything. I know one of my friends who's been going through Twitter is kind of really upset about.
You want a spoiler from about 80 years ago?
Well, in this case, it's for a book that's not even physically out.
Oh, no, but do you want a spoiler from 80 years ago?
Oh boy, what you got?
Doesn't Bendy's mom get shot?
Yeah.
Just in case you forgot about that really sad part of the movie.
But yeah, so Padawan, it comes out on the 26th.
All right.
And so we were going to do that next, but I was like, you didn't get an arc. I got the arc, and I would feel bad to make you have only a few days to read it.
You mean 2 days?
Yeah. And no,
probably a 400-page book.
It's a small book. It's Disney Publishing, not Penguin. So it's 418 digitally. Not sure what it would be physically. Don't have my hands on a physical copy yet. But so 2 weeks from now we'll do that one. Next week we'll do High Republic, Trail of Shadows, and then after that I think after that we've got. I know soon we've got because Chaco's watching right now. I know soon Chaco's going to be on the show, along with Hannah and a new. I actually just got in touch with somebody else, J Comics. So we got 3 people for that episode. That's going to be the Crimson Rain episode.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Can we take a nap after that?
After Crimson Rain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a long ass.
So the schedule currently. Just laying this out currently. We got Trail of Shadows next week, Padawan the week after. Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation is after Padawan. That's going to be a short, fun episode. And then Crimson Rain. No, sorry. Race to Crash Point Towers after Summer Vacation. So going back to High Republic and kind of going back in order. But then we jump to Crimson Rain with Discount Bo-Katan, a.k.a. Hannah, Darth Chaco, and J Comics. And then the week after that is Princess and the Scoundrel with Stardust M, which that's going to be a fun episode as well. And hopefully we'll have another surprise that episode. I've talked about it with some people behind the scenes. We're working on getting an interview for that episode. It'll be pre-recorded, but I think it'll be a fun interview piece to have in that episode for Princess and the Scoundrel.
All right.
We're getting fed well as Star Wars fans. I think this is a great time to be a Star Wars fan, and honestly, a great time to be a nerd.
Yeah.
Because like we've got San Diego Comic-Con going on, and I know this isn't Star Wars, but we talk about whatever we feel like on this show all the time. And so, like, we just had a Dungeons and Dragons trailer for the new movie coming out next year, and it's not even that far next year. It's March, which that looks good. Chris Pine as a bard.
So you make plans that fail?
Yeah, you make plans that fail.
That's every D&D plan. None of those motherfuckers work.
And I've seen some really good screenshots on Twitter where somebody was like, yes, the party getting away from a monster by jumping into another monster. That's D&D for you.
Yeah.
Like there's a screenshot of where they're jumping away from that monster that's coming at them, and it's into a gelatinous cube. I did not see the Shazam trailer yet. Oh, man, like I said, we're getting fed well.
Yeah.
We are, because, okay, I posted this on Twitter, but just next month, shows that we're getting The Sandman, as in, like, the Vertigo Sandman.
Oh, boy.
What else was it that I posted? We're getting House of Dragons.
Yeah.
We're getting Andor next month. We're getting She-Hulk next month. And then if we're gonna count Andor for next month, then we can even lean into even further with Lord of the Rings in September, because Andor is the 31st of August. So September we're getting Lord of the Rings. Like, this is just a great time to be a fan of things.
I've gotten on to people for a couple of things.
Okay.
For the love of God, before you watch something, at least read the, like, tags.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Tori,
Mm-hmm.
who she was like, hey, you know what would be a fun thing to watch? I heard this Game of Thrones stuff was really popular. But Tori never reads the tags on anything.
Oh. Did she not know?
Yeah, she didn't know about the incest part.
Or
any of
the nudity or the violence or anything?
No, she was okay with that. She stopped. I was like, this is why you have to read the tags, Tori. You know you can, like, read the description for the first episode, right?
I mean,
it's not cheating to do that.
No.
It's there.
Yeah, it's there so you know what the episode's about before you go in, if you want to watch. Now, you don't have to read that.
You can go in blind if you want.
And some people like to go in blind on things.
You also
but
saw
that's at your
the
own
rating as well.
But that's also at your own expense.
And she was like, I can't do it. And I'm like, well, you saved yourself about 8 years of trouble.
Were you gonna say disappointment?
No.
I will get in fights.
Okay.
And I know I'm gonna get yelled at. I actually don't think the ending of the series was that bad.
I don't think it was. So I watched it.
Now there
okay,
are.
You know what you say.
Yeah.
What
Let me add a little bit of coverage there, because yes, there are problems with it, just like with any writing of any show. But I think at the end of the day, the way it was fine. a lot of people acted like, oh, it's the worst thing ever. This is, and I disagree. I don't think it was there. I also think that it was actually all in line with the original plans of Gur Martin, but now we'll never know because the book never came out.
He's scared.
And I think, well, no, he's taking his time, and I think he's taking his time, and I think at this point I think he's a little bitter with how fans are reacting to him taking so long, and so he's like, I'm just gonna write things that I have fun writing instead, because that's what I would do as an author. If my audience was telling me you have to write this, no, I don't. I can write whatever I want. Like, especially if I'm George R.R. Martin, I can write whatever I want. You know? But, and so, oh, yeah. Yeah.
Damn it. Alright. In between. Okay, so here.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. It makes it a little easier, because then you can see your face a little better, and plus then if you're speaking into it more clearly.
Yeah. Why don't I just put this...
Also, don't be afraid to get close. Like, it's not going to bite you.
Not going to trust this ever again now that you've said that. But continue.
Literally everybody tells you to lean into your mic.
Everyone tells me, and I'm over here like, no, I refuse.
Me, it's lean back, but we solved that a little bit this week. Because beforehand, I adjusted my levels.
I'm too far away, and you're too close.
Yeah, it was really quiet, and so... and I might have turned you down to match me. I should turn you up, really. I should turn your sound up, and mine should be about where it is right now. And then that will kind of put us at where we need.
All right.
It's okay to talk a little behind the scenes. I like talking behind the scenes of the show. We do it all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, like, personally, I didn't mind the way the show went. And also, I think that's where it was going to go, because the whole reason that, now people may have problems with them now, but the reason that the showrunners got the show in the first place is because they knew R plus L equals J. They knew that who Jon Snow's parents were. And then they basically were said, we are told that the famous stories, they were asked if they knew Jon Snow's heritage. They knew. And then from there, he told them the entire synopsis of where he was going. So I think maybe the minor details were changed, like the how they got to the destination changed, but I think the destination is the same. So, for example, something that a lot of fans are mad at with Game of Thrones is that, spoiler alert for a show that's been over, since
2-3 years?
2-3 years now?
Yeah.
No, it's been long. It's been longer than that.
Oh.
3 or 4, actually. But for a show that's been over about 3 or 4 years now that most people are choosing to forget, Bran becomes king. I think that was always the intention. I think that's something that George always was planning. But how we got there might be different. Another thing fans don't like, Daenerys going insane, even though we were hinted at it the entire show. That's a little bit of me there on that one.
Yeah, the blonde, white-haired people are a little bit crazy.
So my frustration with the arguments that are made is that people are like, oh, see, but we've seen that she's good now, and so it's too late for her to be evil. No, it's not. Literally, we are told that a Targaryen can flip at any moment. Like, her dad. Literally anybody could flip at any moment. That's the point. And, like, we get all these hints throughout the show that, yeah, she's not evil, per se, throughout most of her stuff, although she does some questionable things. And so, like, that's just... Especially, like, the first season immediately shows us some clues right off the bat. Like, when they kill her brother... Once again, spoilers for a show that's really, really old at this point for that season in particular. She smiles. she's happy that now he was an asshole, but that's more of a there's more something. The way it's shot, the way it's framed, it's supposed to hint more than just, oh, I'm happy my asshole brother's dead. There's a little more. But yeah.
So, I fucking fine. Here, I'll get real close.
Well, don't talk quietly. Speak normally still, but
Fine.
yeah.
So, I watched the show with, I watched the final season, and I had seen bits and pieces of the show, because my aunt and mom...
Yeah.
And their
Basically,
would watch
everybody
it.
watched, yeah.
While I wasn't allowed to see, a bunch of it, I got enough to know what was going on. And for the final season, they sat down and let me watch it with them.
Yeah.
And I looked at mom, and I looked at my aunt on episode 1, and I'm like, this is a story that ends with nobody happy. Characters definitely will not be happy at the end of this. I didn't know how right I was with that statement.
I also want a show that's just Jon Snow out in the wilderness now. Because
fucking cold here.
Because it ends with him going out into the north, and I kind of want that show. But I'm willing to wait for George to decide what that story is. He's working on House of Dragons with everybody, so we should be good. And then, of course, going back into other topics, I guess.
Yeah.
We also got some images from X-Men 97, because they're bringing back the old X-Men animated series.
All right.
And an article that I found strange was, Magneto leading the X-Men, and it's titled as if they're surprised that Magneto's leading the X-Men.
Oh.
And I'm just like, did you not?
This has happened a few times
before.
Well,
not even that. That's how the show ends. That's how the original series ended. Xavier goes to space to go be with his alien girlfriend.
What?
Yeah, the Shi'ar. He goes to space to go be with his alien girlfriend.
Great.
This isn't even comics. This is TV. This is animated TV for children. Xavier goes to space to be with his alien girlfriend, and then Magneto is told to be put in charge because Xavier from space goes, "Hey, stop fighting." And then they're like, "Okay." And so, yeah, Scott and Magneto work together now.
Everyone just goes, "Sure, I guess."
Yeah. But it looks like the art looks nice. They're bringing some new voice actors in because some of the voice actors have passed. Some of them, I guess they didn't want to be. I guess they weren't asked.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. They're bringing some good voices in though. Jennifer Hale is being in it again. We're getting a lot of the characters back. I'm curious where the show goes because personally, to me, the series ended at a good spot. I feel like the 5th season finale, 5 seasons, good. You had your run. You told your story. You ended in a weird ending with Xavier going to space with his alien girlfriend, but it was an ending. It was a, hey, everybody stop fighting. We're at peace now. We're friends. Magneto, there's no fighting. Magneto's not the villain, and for the most part, really at that, and you're not really worried about. And, they've already done the Days of Future Past storyline, so there's no, future problems at the moment. They already did Apocalypse. They already did, So, to me, it was like, okay, story's done. You know what animated show they should be bringing back? Spider-Man, the animated series from the 90s. That's the one that did not get an ending. And it had 5 seasons. We still don't know what happened to Mary Jane to this day. Where's Mary Jane? I want the real answers. Instead, no, we just got an ending where Spider-Man goes to the real world, but still animated, and meets the actual Stan Lee, and they talk about how he's Stan Lee's creation.
Here's a weird...
Because because they did the Spider-Verse war.
Oh, yeah?
And so one of the Spider-Men is actually an actor playing Spider-Man. And so he brought that Spider-Man back to the real world. And so that's why he met Stan Lee. But we still don't know what happened to Mary Jane.
is gone now.
Instead, the last time we saw any Mary Jane was when she was not the real Mary Jane. It was Hydra Man version. It was a Hydra Man clone that was also mixed with Mary Jane.
Here's a weird Spider-Man comic thing that for some reason is in the back of my brain. Isn't there, and I mean this genuinely, isn't there a comic where Spider-Man goes and hangs out with God on a beach for like an hour?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Comics are weird, man.
Yeah.
But anyways, we ran a little bit longer.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you everybody for showing up. It was a fun conversation.
Yeah.
And so next week, like I said, we're gonna do Trail of the Jedi, Trail of Shadows, which Star Wars is really loving the use of shadow right now in their titles of things. Shadow of the Sith, Trail of Shadows. I'm pretty sure there's another thing with shadow out there somewhere.
Shadow of Hope. I don't know.
But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Be sure, if you're watching on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Escape Reality Films, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you are watching on Twitch, twitch.tv/CJ Star Wars 94, feel free to follow or subscribe. If you really like our content, you can check out our Patreon, which is linked down below on the YouTube channel, and on Twitch, it's linked on the main page. I'm making sure right now because I believe somebody was talking about. Okay, so it's still just. We would like to thank your mom.
Yeah.
Because as one of our Patreon members. And so
sounds like a joke, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not. I get $9 a month from your mom.
Yep.
But all that goes into all the money that you guys put in goes back into our stuff, especially now that I'm doing this content creation full time, and so every little thing helps. We would also like to thank the Mopcast Network for providing the space. They are another podcast group, youtube.com/Mopcast Network, and also on any podcasting app that you use, Spotify, Apple, whatever. And they've got a few shows. Currently, the Star Wars stuff is on break. But next, the other show is the Cult Movie Cantina. And this week, we are doing Star Trek 4.
The Whales.
The Whales.
It's the only one I've watched.
We are doing the one with Wells, and we are bringing a local celebrity onto the show. And that's going to be fun. And then, trying to think what else. Tuesdays with Scotty is their other show, but that's on hiatus. We're kind of pre-packaging a bunch of episodes, and then we'll bring the season back. And that's where the main guy, Scotty, he just talks about whatever he feels like, brings in cool guests, and we interview them. And then let's also thank Gamers and Geeks, not Geeks and Gamers. Gamers and Geeks, which is our local gaming store. They provide the actual space that Mopcast Network rents out and then provides us. They have all if you're ever in Mobile, Alabama, they have your trading cards, your tabletop games, an arcade in the back for $10 a day. You can get free play on all the games. And then they also got next door is Engage Gaming, which is like in the same building, but it's like next door in terms of like, because it's technically a different business.
Yeah.
And you can pay a monthly membership fee, and you can play whatever console they got. I think I heard they got Xbox One even, and PS. I know they got PS4s and like. Yeah, and they got like the current the previous gen consoles, not the new console gens.
So I get
yeah. So and then they've got your now I forgot.
No.
You threw me off.
I was a little bit worried there. You having trouble with your sentences.
VR. They got their VR.
There
it is. That's what I was looking for. They got VR headset as well, which I still need to try just so I can play anything Star Wars that's VR. And then they provide all the games as well. So, like, if there's any games you want, they provide that. It's all part of your membership fees. And I think that's everything. Oh, yeah, I guess if you join my Patreon, there's a few benefits like being in the Discord, and you can also get my novels if you get a high enough tier, which I guess I should advertise my novels.
Yep.
I have 3 novels. I got Superworlds, The Coat Wars, which is a short story collection set in the same universe as Superworlds, and then Time Ninja. Superworlds is a sci-fi superhero war story, kind of like a Marvel film meets a Star Wars film.
Yep.
And then Time Ninja is sci-fi, fantasy, not really historical fiction because I'm not really focused on a specific historical moment, but it's like set in like actual history time, like historical periods. So in the case of Time Ninja, this one is currently mostly set in feudal Japan, and focuses on like basically it's a ninja who can time travel and a few other things, and so a lot of time jumping is what we call it in the book, and so a little bit of Highlander inspiration as well with like the rules and how they work. So if you like that type of stuff, you can find those on Amazon. They're also, like I said, if you join the Patreon, there is a tier that will get you them included with the rest of your fun little gifts for being a Patreon member. And I think that's everything for real. So once again, thank you all for watching. Have a good one, and I have spoken.
Goodbye.